We're going to talk about a potential Brandon Aiyuk trade on today's show. But first, I want to update everyone on the sub battle going on here at Chat Sports in the month of June, where the Broncos Breakdown currently sits at 7 on the leaderboard. We have slowly climbed up, but we got some room to grow for sure and some ground to make up to try and get to number 5 or 4. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, help us finish top 5 in subscribers across the entire company in the month of June. Let's talk Brandon Aiyuk for today's video because it seems like every single NFL team is asking themselves, could we get Brandon Aiyuk? Because this has been an ongoing story with the 49ers and their star wide receiver who wants a contract extension as he enters the 5th and final year of his contract. And there has been not a lot of progress made on that extension. The most recent update, I guess we can call it, or storyline in this ongoing saga was Brandon Aiyuk posted on TikTok a video of him FaceTiming with Jaden Daniels. And on FaceTime with Jaden Daniels, the Washington Commanders quarterback, he said, "They don't want me back, I swear," which had a lot of people wondering, is there a serious fracture in this relationship? And if so, could we swoop in and get Brandon Aiyuk? Now, the reason why these two sides have not come to an agreement on an extension yet isn't because there is doubt about Brandon Aiyuk's abilities. It's purely financially related. If you look at the top 10 highest paid wide receivers in football, Justin Jefferson recently became the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is trying to top Justin Jefferson, nor does he deserve to top Justin Jefferson, but he probably wants to top A.J. Brown. He's likely looking to get in a number that starts with 3. And that may be too rich for the 49ers, who are currently writing off a really cheap Brock Purdy rookie contract, but they'll have to pay Brock Purdy soon. And all of a sudden, it's going to be tough to do that if you give Aiyuk that huge contract and you've got Bosa, Kittle, McCaffrey, Williams, and on and on and on. So, what if the Broncos just call the 49ers up and say, "We heard you have a problem. We'd love to help you out with that problem." What if Denver gets Brandon Aiyuk, the 49ers get Courtland Sutton, and 2 future second-round draft picks, 2025, 2026 first-round draft pick. Maybe the 49ers only want a first, but with a player going back, maybe you could save a first-round pick and just give 2 seconds instead. I think 2 seconds and a player is pretty close to giving just a first-round pick overall. To be honest with you guys, though, I would do that deal in a heartbeat. Does that have a great chance of happening? Probably not, but it is the NFL. I remember for so many months, Seahawks fans were in the comment section telling me there is no way we're trading Russell Wilson to Denver. And what do you know? My videos from October ended up being accurate come March. So let's talk about the idea of trading for Brandon Aiyuk because he is one of the best ascending young wide receivers. The guy is not even 26 years old yet. He's coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 15 touchdowns combined the last 2 seasons. Brandon Aiyuk, if you don't really know how great he is, was an all-pro wide receiver last year in an offense that ranked 32nd in pass attempts. Let that sink in for a second. You know how difficult it is to be the best at a position when that position is one of the least used positions in that offense? They hardly threw the ball last year in the Bay Area. And despite that, Aiyuk finished with 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. Put him in an offense that throws it the 20th most in the NFL, and those numbers are going to skyrocket. That is why I think Brandon Aiyuk is an ascending star in this league, and why, if I were the Broncos, I'd be all over the idea of trading for him. Now, there was a player-for-player swap in that deal, right? You had Courtland Sutton going back, or not back, you had Courtland Sutton going to the 49ers in this trade. So you would be moving on from a man that's been a really big presence in the locker room. He's been very outspoken about how he wants to stay in Denver for his entire career and help the Broncos win a Super Bowl. And those are just guys you don't want to move on from, right? Those are glue guys in the locker room. But this is a business. And if you could swap Brandon Aiyuk for Courtland Sutton, what are we doing here, right? No offense, Sutton. I like him as a player and as a person. But Brandon Aiyuk, he's younger and not cheaper because you'd have to give him a huge extension, which we'll talk about the money side in a moment. But I think this would be too good to pass on. So I'll toss it over your way. If you were the Paytons, would you do this trade? Sutton to the 49ers, giving up 2 future second-round picks. Not nothing. Like, second-round picks are valuable for sure. And Brandon Aiyuk going to the Broncos. Would you do that? Give me a yes or give me a no. I'm typing yes for sure. Now, what about the money side? Because in Madden, that looks awesome. But you do have to pay the piper. And so if the Broncos were to trade for Brandon Aiyuk, that would immediately follow with a contract extension. And the Broncos are kind of in a weird spot-ish, right? They've got Bo Nix on a rookie contract, but they also are still going to be in the cap hell of Russell Wilson next year. $32 million cap hit in 2025. Again, we're looking at next year because Brandon Ayuk's extension wouldn't impact their 2024 books. It would start 2025. And in 2025, you can see the top leading cap hits for the Broncos. Russell Wilson will wear off in 2025. Mike McGlinchey, Zach Allen, Patrick Surtain. Courtland Sutton, of course, would be going to the 49ers in this trade, so his near $18 million wouldn't impact you. So it wouldn't be too tough to work out financially. The Broncos currently have $36.8 million in cap space next year in 2025. That's 13th in the NFL. So you could get this done if you wanted to get Brandon Aiyuk, because think about the savings you generate by moving on from Courtland Sutton, and there'd only be 1 year of overlap with Ayuk's monster deal and the last year of Russell Wilson being on your books. And then after that, hopefully everything's working out with Bo Nix, and you still have him on his rookie deal. But here's the issue. You're also extending Patrick Surtain soon. That's a no-brainer. That's just a matter of time, not a question of if. And if you acquire Brandon Aiyuk, well, now you got to make Brandon Aiyuk probably the second highest paid wide receiver. These are just extension ideas that I cooked up as a rough idea to give you a framework for what it could look like. 4-year, $130 million for Aiyuk. That's an average of $32.5 million. So slightly topping A.J. Brown, but still a little bit of distance between himself and Justin Jefferson, making the second highest paid. If it's not second, he's not escaping top 5. So don't start counting pennies over that and think, well, we can give him to third or fourth. It's not a big difference. Patrick Surtain, I think, is going to become the highest paid cornerback in NFL history when he eventually gets his big payday. I think it'll be a 5-year, $115 million contract with an average of $23 million. So, how do you get this done? Hello, Walton Penners, the richest owners in the NFL. Now, there is a salary cap, so it doesn't matter if you had the Saudis owning a team. No matter how rich the ownership is, they do have to stay below a certain ceiling. However, it is important to remember that when you have rich owners, like I'm saying rich to the point where they make other billionaires look poor. That's where the Walton Penner Group is. They're richer than the second, third, and fourth richest NFL owners combined. This is the NFL. That's how much money they have. They spent $500,000 on a new field for the Broncos for it to be used once. Just think about that. The beauty of this is when you give out these monster deals to Aiyuk and Patrick Surtain, there's going to be a lot of guaranteed money involved, okay? Let's say combined between those two players, to keep the math easy, there's $150 million guaranteed. It'll be much higher than that, but just keep it a nice round number, 150. You have to have a certain percentage of $150 million in cash available at that moment and set aside just in case that owner were to go bankrupt and go south. Those players could still get their guaranteed money. You may not believe me, but not every NFL owner can snap their fingers and get $150 million in cash done like that. Bengals can't. Why do you think they can't pay T. Higgins? Why do you think they gave a naming license to their stadium? Because they had to get paid Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. The Broncos, luckily, this wouldn't face them. Oh, you need $150 million in cash? Yeah, no biggie. When do you want to buy? Tomorrow? Monday? Tuesday? Like, that's what the kind of money we're working with here is. So it would be a little tight with the cap to have the second highest paid wide receiver in football and the highest paid cornerback in football on the same team. But luckily, if all goes well with Bo Nix, you don't have to pay a quarterback a monster deal for a couple of years, so you could get that done. So I don't want to hear, no, it's impossible to do with the cap. It's not. You've got the richest owner in the NFL, and you've got a quarterback on a rookie contract for the foreseeable future, it can be done. Before we sign off, I do want to know, who do you think the best receiver in Broncos history is? I omitted the word wide receiver, just receiver. Let me know if you think it's DT or anyone else. Get in the comment section and let me know who you think the best receiver in Broncos history is. All right, it is a high of 84 degrees in Denver today. So we get our first Motel Hot Tub hot take, which is my fun way of giving some hot takes throughout the entire summer leading into training camp. And sometimes they're football related, sometimes they're not. I've been waiting for this one since I put this menu together. My Motel Hot Tub hot take is Airbnb hosts that require you to clean the Airbnb before leaving and then charge you a cleaning fee should face a firing squad. That is the dumbest thing that's going on in this country right now. And there's a lot of dumb things in this country right now. But by far, making your guests do laundry before they leave and then slapping them with a cleaning bill? Airbnb, make it make sense. I've completely switched teams. I'm team hotel now. It's kind of like it's like cutting the cable wire, right? Everyone's going back because this new wave, it just so stupid. Cleaning fee for an Airbnb when I have to clean too? That's my Motel Hot Tub hot take. All right, that will do it for us on today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, give us a like, subscribe, comment. It's always great to see how many people tune into our content, even in the dog days of the off season. So I appreciate all of you that watch all the way to the end of the video. We will sign off and see you all later.